Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And when anybody's running short, we're just going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come at them.
I have you in the Griff. Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine at Charlie 4. It's fine, chill. Kijk maar, it's fine. It's just a 5-star. Upload reden miteinander.
15 seconds.
Yeah, ik zei snel.
Guys, 15 seconds.
Guys.
3, 2, 1.
Charlie Jar, CT, yellow.
Okay, good. Get released if you get it there.
To your left, there's there.
Sorry, Richard.
So, jetzt guys, hinter die Indie-Pocken.
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on the barrel. Wire strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the grip. Hit the grip.
Sorry about that. That was such a...
This is right. I'm gonna spawn to Lance you guys in Charlie, Lance you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Wat in die buiten, zieht in die buiten.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Kurz Aufschlag und Delta 4-3, stark 2 Mediums einleiten, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, haben 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV blue shot.
Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Decro. Tell them.
Oh, gotta come back here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
Well, if you cross it, then get in their face. They got highlighted, just push up on Beta. We need help on Beta. Up on Beta. Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this. Full pressure, guys. Full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the f***ing arm, Jax.
That's a cool shot.
Go. I got him.
Go, B3, go.
Echo, go. Get over the medium, guys. Echo Stormcrow. God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the kickoff of the competitive series 2024, starting with the Invitationals knockout round. I'm Ivor, and with me is Hammerfell.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be here.
And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this started. We have 5JDX versus Clan Crossfire. This is going to be a best of 3, and we're going to start with a map ban. So the way this is going to work, Team A is going to ban a map. Team B is going to be also ban a map. Hang on. I'll walk them through it. Then Team A is going to choose the first map. Team B is going to choose the second map, and then whatever's left is map 3, obviously. And then we will choose sides. So that is what's happened. All right, we are banning Terra off first.
All right.
Oops.
For choosing of sides here, it does look like Team B will choose first, then Team A, and then back to Team B. So inverse of the ban phase for choosing sides.
It is B, then A, actually. For the best of 3. Which is strange. All right, Frozen.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. First map chosen. Gonna be Bear Claw. I like it. Let's see what our second map is going to be. So Bear Claw is an interesting map to choose first. HPG is going to be second. Fog is 3.
Bear Claw, HPG, Bogs. Very interesting lineup maps going here.
All right, so here we go. We got choose a size. The sizes are slightly different, mostly the same. All right, Bear Claw Team 1. So we will be right on that one.
Yeah, Bear Claw, of course, being one of the newer maps of the game, it's been fairly interesting for the comp meta due to just the varying array of terrain that's there. It's in a lot of cover, which both gives lots of ways for control decks to play and maintain control over different net points on the objective, while also still allowing more close range, mid range decks to kind of move in and approach objectives. It's been fairly interesting to see how teams approach it so far.
All right, so I'm going to swap the sides here. If you want to maybe talk a little bit more about Bear Claw and what you got.
All right. Yeah. So Bear Claw, of course, with the main home cap points being Sigma for Team 1, Gamma for Team 2. Kappa and Epsilon here are a bit interesting because they are way out on the edges of the map here. I believe they're roughly about 3,000 meters away. So that's well over double the average range you want to be engaging at with long range trade. So it gives a lot of credence, to compositions with light mechs. Definitely been seeing a lot of teams opt for very heavy Wolfpack compositions for this map, just due to the sheer size of the map. And speed needed in order to maintain cap advantage if you're going to go for a cap game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these teams do. They're both well-versed traders. 5JDX historically with a killer Wolfpack. We'll see how that ends up playing out for them. Always one to study, quite frankly, their Wolfpack.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if teams opt for Epsilon or Kappa push as well with their lights, if they're going to try and contest one of the two side points there. Kappa, it seems to kind of almost always be kind of more of a trap. There's a lot more cover between it and Theta that makes it very difficult for any mechs that go the Kappa to try and re-engage with the rest of their party. But that can also be a blessing for Wolfpacks that are wanting to try and grab it without getting too many shots put into them from anything that might be doing a Theta push. Whereas Epsilon is wide open. Any mech that's going for it is easy to harass with beam lasers.
Yeah, my guess would be this is largely going to be a fight over the Epsilon side of Theta. Theta early cap is going to matter. Epsi early cap is going to matter, and it's going to sort of be in that area. Historically, cap is generally kind of ignored. That's why in TOS, a kappa was the point, right? Because they like to put people in atypical parts of the map by design. But it is still very accessible, especially early game. You get those caps, and you just apply that pressure. Both of these teams able to deal with that pressure. So I don't know. We'll see how that ends up going.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I think that's probably one of my favorite parts about watching CS is seeing the higher end teams execute these maps in such a unique way, because many of them approach the map from a very specific angle where they already come in, they have their angles of approach laid out, and then it's wild to just watch how they react to the strategy that of course the other team has come and set up at such a high level.
Yeah, and every single one of these players has, I guess, what you consider like their micros down, right? They can click the button accurately. And all of those things are right where they need to be. So this is where we get to see the big strats. We get to see the moves, the counter moves, the chess that happens here. Those initial positions are important, but with these teams, it's what do they do after? That is where it gets super exciting.
Absolutely. I think, especially on Bear Claw here, the most interesting thing, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be seeing how the Wolfpack reacts, as well as seeing if either team decides to go for a more, big or heavy trading style, as opposed to what's more popular on this map with the very, very well built out Wolfpack.
Yep, that will be. Sorry, just keeping an eye on the lobby here. We are coming down. I'll send us back into the lobby view here. We're coming down under a 2-minute timer. About a minute and a half for Team 1 to lock. Did I say 5th Jaguar Dragoons earlier? I'm all in my head here.
You did, unfortunately. I noticed it and did not say anything.
It is Fidelis Machina. That is my big ol' oops. This Fidelis Machina that we're getting here. I saw all of the JGX and it just throws me through a loop. But all these teams sort of mixed up here. We get a good mix of talent. That's the good mix of talent up here in the Invitationals and in the future in the top 12 as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it has, of course, led to the occasional joke in the top 12 community of just how many teams end up running very similar rosters to another team that previously existed, just due to how small and tight knit the higher tier MechWarrior Online community is.
Yes, the not X joke.
Indeed.
Oh, and at some points we even get some other teams on the butt end of the joke, because it is ultimately a very tight-knit community as well, and a small community as well, which makes it quite nice in some ways. Let's see. CXF
Absolutely.
Taking Alpha Bravo. Taking a look at the map real quick. I don't think that really tells us much of anything.
Unfortunately, this map, no. That is one thing that would be a little bit more interesting to see PGI fine-tune a bit, is having the drop points actually have some impact, especially on Team 1. The drop points have very minimal impact. On Team 2, you get a little bit more ground coverage from Alpha or Charlie towards the side caps.
Yeah. And we do see a bigger
the
distribution as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing our Team 1 here side. Without a Charlie, they're going to be straying towards Epsi like I thought. That being said, a bigger distribution on Team 2 could be a feint, but they could be going for the Kappa point, which would certainly potentially put pressure on the opposing team here, which, well, that's the idea, right? You put that cap pressure on, and who knows what they're going to do. Take a look. Take a look at what folks don't usually get to see here while we're waiting. Oh, and I'll move over to the match screen as well. The corners of the map, the top of the map, things you don't get to see unless you're in a glitched mist links. Great times. Very pretty skybox too.
Indeed.
Here we go. All right, we are in. I will sit here with Fidelis here. We've got Carbon Fire in a Manul, Warhammer 2C. We got a Hellfire, a Stone Rhino Koloss, a Shadowcat P, a Locust 3V XE, the M variant, an Ice Ferret, and an Osiris. Honestly, this is looking like Brawl to me for the most part. ER Peeps on the XE. The Koloss is Large Laser SRM Ag. So yeah, we are mid-range to Brawlish here on Fidelis Machina. What are you looking at on your side?
CFX seeing a fairly traditional Wolfpack blend here. We got a Phoenix Hawk, Shadowcat, Black Lantern, Javelin, and Adder Warthog. All looking, it seems to be moving out. We do have the Javelin and Black Lantern holding off, not quite moving it for FC yet. It'll be interesting to see what's going on there. As well for their bigs, it looks like they're going for a fairly standard range trade setup. They have a Highlander 733, Night Gyre D, and a Stone Rhino 1.
All right, so we see Dario here in the Locust 3V with, two Med Pulse, X-Pulse rather, and 2 heavy machine guns. Interesting 3V build. How here on Kappa, there's that pressure and Theta. So it is a 3-to-1 cap early in favor of Fidelis. Gonna have a little skirmish over Epsilon here, I think, between Tawars and Myriage.
Looks as though we might have a DC Captain Cap just sitting there in the Black Lantern, not doing anything. Not sure what happened there.
Ooh, that could be rough. It could also be waiting for his moment too. Oh no, he's back at the oh geez.
Yeah, he's back there standing on the wall.
Yeah.
He's not moving. Not sure what's going on there. Shots already being fired though. Lots of damage out into Lowell BBQ.
Yeah, and
a lot of damage returned back in the Navid.
Crossfire with a nice line here, a little bit limited by that column in the middle, but they are letting Fidelis have it as much as they can, and to good effect. Navid down there in the 70%. And here comes a push with Brower.
A lot of return fire.
And Dario pushing in there. Oh, 3 plasma cannons on the Shadowcat. That's interesting. For Brower. Yeah, they're going after Rathnor and Pete Zone, who are effectively pulling back, drawing Squeebs into the middle. Squeeb's gonna go down. First for Crossfire. That's an unfortunate loss of weapons with the adder there. Lull Barbecue going down here as Fidelis gets the wrap. Nikoro Doomguard way up in the air. I don't think that's gonna save him. Lermgod.
Warthog will go down 2. Squeebs goes down. Navid will finally go down, but they trade that for a Highlander.
Yeah, there goes Rathnor. It is 4-7. The line was good, but the wrap from Fidelis really just happened. Lustian. Yeah,
Mirage maybe going to take out Carbon Fire here, but it's down to 7-2.
Yeah, and that is rough because one of those is in fact Captain Cat, who has not moved. So that is presumably an uncalled DC. And they're going to go seek them out. Around the back here, maybe take some caps, but that kill is going to be really going to be the decider here when it gets to it. Now, folks, if you are just getting into comp, I want you to take note of something. Look at all of the UAVs. All of the UAVs, you can see them on the mini map. That is important. Even in a brawl, just all the UAVs will make the difference. There we go. All right, first drop rather goes to Clan Crossfire, and our labels were backwards on that one. Or I'm sorry, goes to Fidelis. Goodness, I am a mess today. Fidelis gets the first drop. Everything is backwards. All right, let's take a look at some of these stats here. We are looking at 610 for Lermgod in that Koloss. Can't say that I'm surprised. Really just heads and shoulders above everybody else. Next nearest is Carbon Fire in that manual. Pete Zone Lowell Barbecue coming up in the high 400s for CXF. We'll get a detailed scoreboard here in a second. That looks correct. All right, and we're going to come in here, change the sides for the teams.
Looks as though, yep, Captain Cat is in fact DC'd in lobby, so it looks as though they had an unfortunate uncalled DC occur fairly early on in the match there.
And let me swap the overlay so that I do not get super confused. And we are on to HPG. Wherever that may be. All right, so taking a look at HPG, which looks strangely like Frozen to me. Hang on the map. Oh no! Kids accidentally unplugged the internet. That
Oh no.
is unfortunate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get Team 1 started here now. All right, so yeah, taking a look at HPG. Honestly, I don't think I've seen HPG in a comp setting in a hot minute here. So I don't entirely know what to expect. I don't expect basement strats. I would expect maybe 1-2 snipers on the wall, the rest mixing up in the middle, but these teams are hyper mobile, so we may not even see, like, I expect we'll see wall strats in the beginning. I don't know how mobile they'll be. I'll be really interested to see that personally. Do you have any insight on this one here?
Yeah, HPG's always been an interesting map as far as whether or not teams seem to go for cap strat or wall strat. I definitely agree that basement almost never you see in high level play. A lot of teams when they're first starting out really like to do Inga Bunga rushes in the basement, but against a team that knows how to properly counter it, basement just isn't super playable on this map. Even if you try and do like a very mobile like Wolfpack push out. So definitely agree with you. I think we'll probably have at least 2 traders on the wall. Interesting to see if they opt for light traders or big traders. And then the rest of the team will likely be much more mobile, aiming to, fight around the edges of the map, and then try and take each other's traders off the walls, if not try and take each other's home caps while holding their own.
Yeah, actually, as I'm thinking about it, was it last year that we had the new Timberwolf, or was that 2 years ago with the large pulse and medium lasers that I forget who it was. I think it was a GNX player who just got O-bombed for a shot from the back. Super high alpha. That last year?
May have been last year, or could have been 2 years ago. Definitely was in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
but I can't remember
soon.
which year it was myself either.
Yeah, so we may see some teams sneaking around the edges to get in the backfield, especially if their opponents see traders. That's where I'm going with this. That is a strat we have seen some sneaky heavies with some ridiculously high alpha. I'll be interested to see if that happens again. Actually, that might have been Jiffy that did that too. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we are coming up on 2 minutes for Team 1 to lock. I'll move us over to the lobby so you can see some of the nonsense that's happening. So yeah, Captain Cat there with the kid Drew Kid aggro, and they pulled their ultimate move, unplug router.
It's always an unfortunate time when the kiddos decide that it's a great time to mimic a cat and just play with the router.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the cat household. Yep. All right, FM with the win on that. Regarding the predictions. All right, still 1.5 minutes. They are green, but no one is locking. We'll see how it goes.
Locked.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. And we'll move on to Team 2. All right, so looking at the spread here, I'm going to go back to the map screen. with HPG, we're looking at Team 1 for Fidelis Machina. They have an interesting split. So we've got Bravo up the middle. Carbon Fire probably going up that left side ramp from there, right next to Gamma from their perspective. Gonna grab Gamma, maybe gonna join the middle. And then also a heavy Alpha presence. So those also might be folks going up the wall, or all of these could go in the center with Carbon Fire left to cap Gamma. Which is to say, anything could happen, right? I basically
Absolutely.
covered all the options.
It's a map where it's very hard to predict what strategy a team will go for. It's also a map that, having been out for so long, unlike Bear Claw, it can feel fairly solved. A lot of the new additions to the meta make it a lot more interesting. I definitely think we'll probably see like the AP Gauss with Plasma PPC Shadowcat make another show here. Possibly from both teams. It's been a very meta option for maps like this.
It's a very strong mech, really, no matter what the map.
Absolutely. Could be interesting to see if either team opts for a beam laser strat. There's a lot of cover on this map that makes them less ideal. But it'd be interesting to see if either team tries to go for that. So there are some new, with the new tech, some new strategies that you might be able to pull off. But for the most part, I don't think this map has changed how it's been played for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't expect beam lasers. I don't think they can work. But they depend on mistakes. They depend on a mech being left alone, and I don't think that's likely at this level.
Absolutely. Yeah, the necessity to stare can make them very, very easy to punish, just because it's quite easy to just drill out their center torso if they have to look at you to do damage.
All right. Here we are on where do you suppose we are? Some sort of an asteroid, I suppose, is where this HPG station is. I really thought about it.
I believe so.
Or maybe a moon. That's a pretty close planet off on underneath.
Yeah, I think it's a moon. I got the Team 2 spawn here, if you want to go over Team 1 when they drop in.
Sure thing. Where are the out of bounds? A really nasty out of bounds section here that you just don't want to get stuck in. It's a bad time.
There's unfortunately a lot of out of bounds in this map here. If you fall off the wall in a couple of different sections, it is a very unfortunate time for any mech that falls down to that little crevice there.
Oh yeah. All right, so we've got two wars in an Arctic Wolf Prime. We've got a Stone Rhino 6 and a hold called from Fidelis. So let's take this moment. We've got a good chance to look at all of the builds here. So we've got SRMs and large lasers on this Arctic Wolf Prime. Monk crashed in the Fusehawk 7X. But first, here's that Shadowcat as expected. ERPPC Executioner. The Stone Rhino 6 ER large, 7 ER mediums. That is toasty. Naveed in the light PPC Magshot Firestarter. A light and heavy PPC mix on the 7S, mislink, come on, SRM mislinks on the B, and Carbon Fire in the Corsair with ER large and Gauss. So yeah, definitely going on top of the wall there. How are we looking for Crossfire here?
Looks as though they're going for like 3 trade and then a fairly heavy wolf pack. Speaking of the beam lasers, they are running a beam laser Shadowcat, it looks like. They then have a Novacat A with the set of 4 ER large, a 4 ER large with backups, XEM, the new Executioner added last year in the TSP pack with that 5% set of 8. Then they have a Machine Gun Viper and Javelin paired up with a SRM bombing Summoner, and of course the heavy machine gun small X Pulse Osiris. And hold on, I may have lied. They have a it's not a Brawl Koloss, that is an ER large Gauss rifle Koloss. That is an interesting pick for that build.
That I have actually seen around for a bit. The advantage there, I mean, it's got, your standard sniper hardpoints, but it's got that mass so it can get into position fast, which is going to be good for this map. So it doesn't necessarily take advantage of any quirks of the Koloss, other than the fact that it can have a mask. and it's a 100-ton sniper, which works out rather well.
Got you. That could be interesting, especially since snipers do have to climb up those ramps and are quite exposed initially getting up there. Being able to reach the top of the wall and potentially get a few early shots in enemy traders as they're moving in the position could be quite advantageous. So it'll be interesting to see if that has any effect on this match.
All right, and we are at 12:30, which at least on the last one, I'm pretty sure in general that means we are in redrop territory. Let me double check that in the major tournament rules here. Oh, nope, they are in, and they're going to go in 10 seconds here.
Alrighty. Also, a note from my chat, we do need to fix, it looks as though Mantra is still being shown instead of CFX in the scoreboard.
What? I am showing CXF on mine. Is that something on yours?
No, I might have the wrong scoreboard from you.
Oh.
We'll have to look at that after the drop.
Yep. All right, here we go. Brower is pushing forward and with Monk, who with the fresh packets from the internet here, they are off scouting that left side, and they are going to find Captain Cat in the Osiris Squeebs and the rest of the wolf pack. We're going to have some early skirmish here along the, well, whichever side I'm on, left or right flank, depending on which team you're on. We've got some trading happening across the way, but this fight is happening over in this Theta pocket. Let's see. Carbon Fire over here trading in the Corsair. Overwatching the team a little far back, just doing some wall v wall trading, doing a good job staying out of the fight, the firing line of, well, I guess it would potentially be the Summoner. The rest of it just being Wolfpack, but I mean, SRMs aren't going to do a whole lot. So Carbon actually has quite a bit of leeway here. And here comes some of the Crossfire wall traders, the Novacat and Executioner, getting some shots on Tawars and Monk, just little tickle shots. And here we go. We are up on the wall. We're going after Carbon Fire. Carbon Fire, let's get a look at this. Open in the back. We've got Squeebs, Rathnor, Mirage, Captain Cat, all on the wall going after Carbon Fire. Brower trying to help. Lewiston didn't make the jump. The Summoner is going to get jumped by the Fidelis, well, rest of the team. And there goes Carbon Fire. That is a significant tonnage trade there. Lustian, yep, just holding on here. Dario just trying to escape the Wolfpack here, will get away with 92%. Crossfire holding on to this side of the wall. They take out Lermgod. Where was Lermgod? Oh, up at the top. Yes, Doomguard in the Koloss, just consolidating this position, making it a 7-6 match here. Rathnor, 62% in that Shadowcat open CT. Needs to be careful as Fidelis consolidates. Now, Fidelis sending Naveed over here to try to deal with Pete's zone, but there's Lol Barbecue as well. He's got some help. Naveed and Lol mixing it up. Pete zone turning to help, and maybe even getting Cat and Cat in this fight. I think Naveed needs to escape within the next 10 seconds or so, or it's not going to end well. Meanwhile, we've got Rathnor Mirage here just trying to hold off the rest of the team. Brower getting up here and Dario getting in here, messing with Nikoro Doomguard, who is probably going to go down. There goes Naveed. Nikoro Doomguard ready to be halved.
Bit too much invested by CXF here. Looks as though Fidelis is looking to try and capitalize on Nikoro and Mirage here. So as if CFX tries to rotate back in to get in position. Yep.
A little bit overcommitted to get Naveed out there, but necessary. There we go. We're getting some shots on Brower that are in good range. Those legs are ready to go on that Shadowcat. Mirage with the structure eating machine guns might be able to take that, but no. Dropped off the wall. Now he's got two, they've got two Wars to worry about who's going to go pick them off. Captain Cat picking off Brower finally. It is 5-4. In favor of Clan Crossfire, but the armor difference will be significant here. Fidelis is fresh. There goes Mirage. Bring it to a 4v4 Fidelis advantage. But Fidelis in the low ground. We'll see how that works. Monk getting burned a little bit on the feet. Let's take a look at Fidelis here. We've got open legs on Tawars.
Open legs on Jiffy, Dario.
Dario
All of them
has
have
one
an open leg.
Yeah.
So there are some leg problems coming out from Fidelis here. However,
Yep, there goes Monk.
CFX,
Monk loses one. And will be stuck out in the open to be picked off. Crossfire using this long range to their advantage. Here we go. Jiffy on the ramp where he needs to be to protect those legs.
Low BBQ CT is open, but otherwise, for the most part, Crossfire is actually fairly healthy here. Those H-Towels a little bit deceiving at the moment.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, Squeebs is fresh, but he is very close range. So that is this is not his ballpark. It is essentially a 2v3 right now. As Dario goes for Theta, they are switching to a cap strat here, which is the smart thing to do. However,
CXS has successfully sent some of the Kappa, so they are maintaining that 3 cap as they take back their cone cap. Looks like they have someone now also going the Gamma here, so they are looking to get that 4 cap and potentially just starve them out over time for points.
Yep, and let's see. So we have Squeebs going for Gamma here, but also we have Dario with that mislinks keeping on the cap for Epsilon, and Lol Barbecue doesn't seem to notice it. We'll see probably a reaction once Dario hits that cap point. That
no reaction yet. Doesn't seem like CXF has realized anything's going on at Epsilon.
That being said, they still have the 3 cap lead, so they're in okay position. Let's see, Jiffy here just still. Oh, there goes Tawars. Captain Cat taking him out in the Osiris. Watching Jiffy here shield those legs, still getting shots on Lol Barbecue. Could potentially take it off. Lol is looking rough, but here is Captain Cat in that Osiris. The leg muncher
Jiffy
here
is legged.
And Pete Zone with the nice jump right over. We're going to collapse on Jiffy here. This is going to go to match 3. Almost certainly. We've got Dario in a legged mislinks. CXF still with the cap lead and expanding it. Let's keep an eye on Dario here.
Dario's not quite legged yet, but he does have an open left leg there, just ready to pop. Looks as though Pete might have some idea where he's at here, potentially. Dario about to walk out into Pete's line of fire here.
And take some shots with those SRMs. Pete at 57%. Honestly, not too bad all around. It's just CT.
Yeah. Captain Cat moving out here to engage. Possibly one touch from death if he's XL.
Yeah, and let's see. Dario trying to get some... I think just trying to get some kills on the board here. If he can pull this off, they are fairly hurt. It is still a 4v1. Everyone is hurt here, but if he can get a couple off the board, especially the fast movers, it'll make his job easier if he decides to go for caps. Let's see. Pete Zone here hanging on against these SRMs. A CT 1 touch on that. Dario clears Pete Zone. Will he get Captain Cat? Nope, not yet. Not yet, still working on it. What does Dario even have left? He's got to be missing some arm.
He's got everything, but he's very, very close to death.
Takes out Barbecue. Takes out Captain Cat.
Will go down. He could maybe clutch this.
He's not going to clutch it on caps, but he might clutch Squeebs on the kill. Let's see it happen. Oh, Squeebs gets him.
Squeebs barely surviving with a fairly healthy left leg there. And
Dario
most of his armor left on his torsos.
Dario with a run at the end. Excellent. We love to see it. Let's get some stats on the board here. Dario here with 4 kills against Captain Cat's 3. 646, almost top damage on the team. Pete Zone just farming in that cat. 772. Well played. Let's get you guys the detail score as we set up for the next one.
right, and then if we're also able to try and maybe get our scoreboards unified here, that would also be glorious.
Yeah, let me see what I'll send you a link. Oh yeah, you were using the template. Yep.
Beautiful. Apologies for everyone watching on MW Leagues 2. We'll get that fixed right up here.
All right, and we'll get those timers started. Next map up is Viridian Bog. Looking at the prediction, 14% thought CXF would win that. Some folks are getting a large spud payout. All right. Oops. I messed that up.
That is unfortunate.
I mean, that being said, they won on their non-native server here. So
Indeed, props to CXF playing with that glorious Australian ping.
mm-hmm.
Looking at Viridian Bog here, of course, going into the next match.
Yeah, I'll send us over to the map screen there for Viridian Bog.
Bog is a interesting map. They just recently made it, so for those who weren't aware, you could use your config file previously to go and kind of edit out the lily pads, which is a very huge difference for any team that was running it versus teams that not. Being able to see through the lily pads was quite broken. That has since been fixed now, so the map is a little bit harder for mechs to just kind of sit back and plink in the theta with no line of sight obstructions. Similar HPG, feels like kind of a solved map. Likely to see whoever's on team 2 take up that very strong trade point over D7 by Kappa, and or the hill by like Echo 6 or Echo 7. Team 1, they have very strong holding points at like Echo 4 and Fox 5. Will be interesting to see, if teams do opt to take those trade points and just shoot into the middle there, or if either team tries to go for a more like central play around D5, Echo 5, or possibly even for a Wolfpack push around through Theta. The Theta push is much less likely. It's much riskier play, a lot more room for error, but it'll be interesting seeing what teams do.
All right, teams are now think something that's happened in the background. Last drop should have been on the Australian server, the Oceanic server, but it was not. Overlooked by everyone. And Fidelis has agreed to play on the AP server for this drop. And team 1, Crossfire coming up on their 1-minute warning. Looks like they're straying Alpha Bravo Charlie, which on this map means a little bit, not as much for team 1.
Team 1 definitely is much more likely that they might have a commit to Theta from a couple lights. They might be trying to heavily push for that early cap game over by Theta. Having only one Bravo definitely means that they're probably not looking to take a Delta 5 hold. They're sending that one mech to Epsi, and then they don't seem to want to have much to do with the Delta 5 area. So much more likely to see them play probably like Fox 5, Echo 5 over there.
With a good spread too. That is important on a lot of things, is to spread your scouts out so that they can see what is happening everywhere rather than leaving blind spots. So it is a very good spread, and I expect to see something similar from Fidelis. Which they are. They are heavy Alpha Bravo. They're going to get a good spread. We're going to have a good not push match, but we're going to see them pushing on each other's sides and seeing what's happening, right? We're going to see, I think, a good movement match this one based on this distribution. Okay, let's see. We are still holding. All right. What else can we chat about for the moment? Let's talk about what this tournament is. We kind of skipped that over in favor of getting into the action at the beginning. So this is the knockout round for the Invitationals. The Invitationals will pull 3 teams out of the queue and put them directly into the top 12. So this is what's that? 6 teams that are going to be going at it. So 3 teams will be removed. The loser of this actually will end up with a double header against Fjord, their North American team. And the winner of that, well, the winner of this goes directly into the seeding round. There will be a seeding round to determine 1, 2, and 3. It'll be a round robin. But in order to get into that, that's what this is for. It's sort of a pre-qualifier. So the winner of this match will go directly into that seeding tournament. The second will, or the loser will go into a second match directly after this one, for who gets to fight for that 3rd spot. There are 2 more matches tomorrow. Well, depending on where you are, but in a significant amount of hours. And that will follow the same format. The loser of that to have a double header against Fjord's European team. And then the 2 winners of the second matches of today and tomorrow will go on to face each other for that 3rd spot. But let's go ahead and launch for the finale of this first match of CS24.
It'll be exciting. This map especially is one that you can see potentially unpredictable things coming through. Looking forward to see how each team approaches it.
All right, looking at the prediction, which has closed at this point, CXF 15% think they are going to come out ahead. Fidelis with 85% of the spud bucks on them.
All right, I'll go watch for team 2.
Sounds good. They are actually already on the ground, so I'm going to take a look at Luceton. I think I've said that name different every single time here. With the Osiris, with a bit of brawl, we've got the Stone Rhino 1 with AC-10s and plasma cannons. That's an interesting build. Gargoyle with the PPC and some AC-5, so some Daka. We got Fafner 6R with heavy PPC and Silver Bullet Gauss. That's not one you see too much in comp. And we've got our wolf pack here with the Black Lantern Shadowcat with beam lasers, Viper, and Javelin.
Coming out from Fidelis, we got some interesting mechs here. We got a Vapor Eagle 1 here, which is packing some SERMs, Proto AC-8, AP Gauss, Plasma Cannon, it's got it all. We're back with that Shadowcat with the AP Gauss Plasma. We have an interesting build. It feels maybe a little undergun for the SR6, but 2 large pulls, 7 med pulls. Got the AC-5 ERPPC Night Gyre JK, as well as the Osiris, a Snub Magshot Locust, the mixed PPC is Phoenix Hawk, and then a Dire Wolf. Looks like that Dire Wolf is gunning it straight over here to the edge of the map.
Yep.
Looking
So
to
that is
sit up here overlooking that Theta spot and just look pretty as they dump some rounds out.
and Crossfire not particularly interested in Theta yet. So this is going to turn into a 3-2 cap advantage for Fidelis early on. Again, that's early on, so not a whole lot of pressure yet, but it adds up depending on how these teams decide to play it. Rathnor taking a peek over the corner over onto Sniper Hill. Not liking what he's looking at, I'm guessing.
Lermgod successfully getting up onto their Sniper Hill over here in the back corner.
All right, as Crossfire just sort of stacks this corner, waiting for something to pounce on. And that something to pounce on might be Dario here in a little bit. That Locust just trying to scout out, see what's over here. And not seeing anything, I would expect Fidelis to start the wrap at this point. They've got definitely some good positions here, and Crossfire has themselves pretty much sequestered in the low ground, but they're moving. They are doing a little bit of a push here. Yeah, we've got the Wolfpack gonna try to come in around the backside of the Sniper Hill as the Bigs push and absorb some fire. Cat and Cat getting there in the Black Lantern ahead of Mirage. Now this, you can see the string. It's all one by one. This is going to be problematic. All right, here we've got Navid, Brower, Carbonfire, Jiffy up on the hill. Tawars, Monk coming around the corner. Excellent reaction by the Fidelis Light Pack. Lull Barbecue and that Gargoyle just took all of the hits and remains on the front line. Now they're going after Dario, it looks like, in the backfield. I don't know if that's the move. Lewiston alone against the entirety of Fidelis, except for Dario there, just goes down so fast. And we've got some pop-up strats here. Now, the Rathnor and the Shadowcat with the beam lasers, I don't think that was the move. That's a lot of stair time against the whole time. But here's Monk. Monk is alone against 3. Gets out with 88%. Crossfire already banged up and down a mech as this starts to cool off a little bit. Dario goes down in that backfield. That's a little bit of a Thomas trade.
BBQ, Squeebs, all getting close to that 60% mark. Little BBQ, of course, being down, almost torsoed.
Yeah,
Cat, pretty beat up.
Carbonfire down to 58%. That's really just all spread damage there. Look at that armor, one open arm. Carbonfire's really okay. There goes Rathnor in that Shadowcat. Myriad's trying to pop and pan. There goes Squeebs. This is just going to be one by one. Cat and Cat going the long way with Lull Barbecue. They're going to be out of the fight, leaving Nikoro Doomguard to their fate. And there goes the Stone Rhino.
Quickly go down out of the combined firepower.
And Cat and Cat going up against the team. Oof. Deleted by Brower. What was that? Through the CT. Legs. Okay, so Cat and Cat was roughed up on legs. We got Tawars going against Lull Barbecue. Pete Zone in the Fafnir. Not going to make it in time. And here comes the rest on Tawars. And where did Pete end? Oh, Myriad. Myriad ends up tucked in with the Javelin there, just taking some pop shots. Not going to be enough. 7-1. Fidelis kicks it into high gear for this drop. The 7-1.
Very well executed there from Fidelis on the receive. They, took advantage of the mistake that CFX was unfortunately making theirs, as you mentioned early on. Just one by one streaming in there. Lusitin dying. CFX for some reason getting distracted by the lone Dario there, running back there with that Locust. The Snub Locust apparently too powerful. It had to die. As unfortunately for CFX, that would be the only mech they take down throughout that match.
All right, let's take a look at our stats. I expect a little bit of farm on the point of Fidelis, although some of those mechs went down quick. But yeah, you can see the damage score difference. We got 2 double Ds on CXF, Squeebs in the Viper, Cat and Cat in the Lantern, just not able to really close. And when they did, the whole team was there against them. You've got Tawars in that Osiris with 558, Navid in the Veal 529, and the Jade Kite Jiffy pulling 661. Overall, great scores on the part of Fidelis. All right, now that is our first. So what's happening here? Fidelis is moving on to the top 12. They have a seeding round to go. So they are immediately into that. CXF is going to play another game right after this one against Fjord. So hang tight, everybody. We're going to reset, get Fjord in here, and we'll be right back. We'll be staying live. So, you know, feel free to chat. We'll be going over the, we'll be going through the chat and responding a little bit. Yep. So shaking off some rust. So I appreciate your patience with us casters here. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get this reset. We get Fjord on here. We are about 10 minutes early ahead of schedule, so that's about right for us to set that up. Let me get
Sounds
Iron
good.
in here.
Are we still live?
We are still live. Yes.
All right.
Here, you wanna, while I get this set up, would you like to I don't know, we kind of, Viridian Bog was really kind of straightforward. You want to talk about some of the maps that we didn't see for anyone who might be new?
Sure. Yeah, we can go over some of the newer other maps in
Throw
here.
up Frozen first on the map screen.
Yeah, Frozen City here, fairly big map. Being so big, it's really interesting to me that they haven't shrunk it. The entirety really of like the India line and the 9 line don't really exist on it, so it looks a lot bigger than it feels. But it is still overall the average trade lanes you're going to be seeing on that map going roughly about 1,500 meters, which is your ideal like trade radius there. Going out between team 1, team 2. Is definitely a much more trade favored map as opposed to some of the other maps. Team 1 for sure has the trade advantage generally, with Delta 5 being a very popular trade spot. Can also see teams sometimes have traders Delta 6, Echo 7, really kind of get that concave up to try and hold theta. Will then also keep in Gamma Epsilon. Team 2 is a little bit interesting, having like Kappa Sigma back there in the cave. It can be very difficult for Team 1 to push in there. Which does put a lot of emphasis on Team 1 to make sure that they hold that theta. It's a lot easier for Team 2 to maybe kind of sweep in around the back, grab that Epsilon. It's not super great trade angles to cover Epsilon from any of the main trade spots in Team 1. Overall, very, very trade heavy map. Can sometimes see teams try and pull a slow brawl strat, but unfortunately that wide open goalie in the center down the 5 and 6 line makes it very, very easy for a trade strat to just sit there and receive. You kind of can just get your bigs legged out before you ever make it into the brawl, and makes it much harder to execute a brawl successfully on this map. Moving on to Terra Therma. Terra Therma is an interesting map. Don't see it super often, I feel like. So it's one of the few maps that I'm not as knowledgeable about.
So
it can be...
Yeah, Terra Therma, you're going to see some fights over theta. So we've got, well, Echo 7 is generally a death trap, right? So you'll see teams snag, Team 1 will snag Sigma and Epsilon. And usually we'll see some fight around this corridor here, either of those outside. Sometimes a team will take around the outside, but expect some fights. From Team 2, we're going to capture Kappa, Gamma, and come up on Theta with some fights. Now, the way that sometimes it works out, Team 2, you can get a Kappa on Theta, drop some UAVs in this area, and then just kind of sit back and trade. Something I don't expect, but would love to see, is a push around this structure here, the little cauldron in Hotel 8, Hotel 9 structure. Is very, very rarely done. I don't think I've ever seen it done in comp, which would make it for a wild strat, but I'd be interested to see. So yeah, expect some maybe some skirmish around Sigma to start. Kappa into Sigma from Team 2. Team 1 will get there. That might be, these 2 points will generally be traded. Epsilon, Gamma are generally considered safe home caps, and then the main fight's going to happen over Theta. Oh, also, we'll see some folks possibly up in this Fox 6 Cauldron area, especially from Team 1. You can get a little sniper up there and snipe down on Theta. So there's a couple of sneaky spots here, but it really does all come to a head around the center, generally in this match.
Gotcha, yeah. And that Theta point, it's very difficult map to trade on, just due to how much cover there is. Heavily tends to favor, at least from like experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, like more mid-range brawl or mid-range trade, or just very heavy on the Wolfpack for this map.
Yep. Yeah, and speaking of the Wolfpacks can be very, very strong. In this map. I mean, they usually are on every map, but there is enough cover and things that you need to navigate around that it can take them a minute to get to it. There's not really any jumping over this Fox 6 volcano here. There's a structure around Gulf 7 that you can kind of work around, but it does get in the way. So your Wolfpack on this map has to be so in tune with what's going on and honestly predict what's happening. And so that they can get there, so that they can sort of remove.
Yeah.
All right, so just keeping up on the chat. Let's see here. We've got some folks who earned some spuds there. Worm God with a carry. Yeah, there's here we go. Push was pretty sudden at first, but came to a crawl immediately. Yeah, it did. It was on that Viridian Bog push. They needed to, well, they needed to push. They saw they needed to push. They started to push, but they were all strung out, like we saw.
It was definitely very interesting that their main downfall was not just grouping up, pushing out as one, and then also for some reason getting really distracted by that locust, which I think was part of the cause for them getting so strung out. Is too much of their team saw the bug, went must kill bug, and unfortunately that led to a few of them running in without much backup.
Yeah, there was some turnaround, but at the same time, they could not really allow that locust just to sit there, right? So they did need to. And it was tough because they didn't really have shots on any of the other mechs because they were down on the back on the stairs. So I don't blame them for that. I almost might want to say it's the right move. They just needed to kill Dario faster. It took them probably, I don't know, maybe about a minute or more, maybe 2 minutes to kill Dario.
Somewhere, I think, between a minute and a half. Yeah, it took quite a long time. And then, trying to remember who it was that unfortunately ran in by themselves as well. Just in that scenario, absolutely, yeah. Then it would have unfortunately been whoever still went in, despite the team going for the locust. Possibly some miscommunication there on what the game plan changed to, that unfortunately just led to them getting so strung out.
Yeah, it's there were a whole lot of things that went wrong there for CXF, and they were at a disadvantageous position. I don't know if I would have chosen that corridor. I might have tried to go down along Theta if I wanted to do something different and react, because they had 3 mechs on that hill, and then by the time they got there, the push was very obvious and very upfront and spotted right away, and the Fidelis Wolfpack just came around and did an incredible job in getting there, so that by the time the front of the push even showed up, even got across that open, it was the full team minus Dario against whoever rounded that corner, and they were going one at a time. So it was not a good push. Ultimately, it would have been better served using a different route.
Absolutely. No, and but again, like you were saying, pushing that Delta 7's a very difficult hill to push. It's almost kind of a flaw in the map in how difficult that hill can be to push, just because it's a nice raised on, spot up, and then in order to get to it, you have to run all the way around the sides, where whichever team is holding it has so much time to just set up and just concave you as you come in. You just run into a kill box.
Yep. And Iron Wolfpack is in, which means Fjord is primed to get into lobby. We'll go ahead and see when both teams are ready to start the ban.
All right.
Right, so our first ban is going to be Terra. To ban a map. We will not be seeing Terra, which we just talked about. Will they choose Frozen? HPG, so we will see Frozen. All right. Team 1. Choose map. Our first map is going to be Airclaw. Cool, keeping it easy. And Bog will be second, which means that Frozen third. All right, so team 2. Inside for Bearclaw. I want side 2, which means they will be where they should be. All right.
Be seeing fairly similar maps here, looks like.
Yeah, so we're going to see Frozen instead of HPG. That's good to get some variety in this first thing. First drop, first match, Bog team 2. Means that, so they will, and then Frozen team 1. Hang on. So yes.
I believe Bearclaw was chosen to be first map, it looks like.
Yes, Bearclaw is first. And making sure I got all my notes here. Fjord will be team 2. And then we're going to swap and swap. Okay, so.
And then which team is considered as home as far as the home servers again for OCE?
Yeah, so we're going to start off on the Oceanic server. All right, and I think we are ready to go, ultimately. All right, so starting off with Bearclaw. Where are you in the list? Always, and that's the series, Bearclaw. All right, so Fjord is team 2. Sides correct. Map correct. Starting the team 1 timer. We are off to the second match. Now, in terms of what are the stakes, the winner of this will go on to compete for the final spot in the top 3. The loser will go back to the queue. Those are the stakes. Here's Fjord immediately. Love to see a full team coming in like that. And we're on the countdown. So Bearclaw, just like we saw before, Fjord really, I'll be interested to see what they do. They're a fairly versatile team. They can do a number of things. Their light pack is also very strong. I think not quite as strong as Fidelis's or 5J's, who will be playing tomorrow. But certainly a very strong wolf pack. These Fjord, I think, are coming in off of their Div B wins on the Invitational. I know that's called out here somewhere. Yeah, okay, here we go. So over the course, looking like Crossfire had 5 points, and out of the first bunch, yeah, we had to go farther down, which I don't have stats for. But They did certainly earn their way into the spot. In terms of their play style, they are a strong team. I'll be interested to see how they work out against Crossfire. Kraz very much in organizing this thought all of the teams here had a chance to get into top 3. Felt that they were fairly competitive, and I would agree. I think the two Fjord teams are the underdogs in this tournament, but they certainly have a chance. They certainly have the pilots to do so, and you can look at this. You can look at this stack. We've got Artie, Hamster, Arthin, Revan, Eco, certainly Iron, and Noblesse. Like this is a very good team for Fjord. Not quite sure who's on Rangers, but in terms of their main team, their North American team, this is a pretty strong lineup, and I think they've got a chance.
Absolutely. I would definitely say for this lineup from experience, probably, heavy Wolfpack, like you were saying, probably their biggest struggle is trying to execute trade decks from the experience watching them. Would be interesting to see if they try and execute a trade strategy, just because they historically haven't been as strong with them. But their Wolfpack is absolutely, good enough to, if executed properly on, especially with this map pool and having very Wolfpack dominant maps available, just kind of carry them through, and allow them to make it to that top 3 spot.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if we actually have any true distribution yet. We are waiting. Oh, team 1 has 2 minutes. Oh, never mind. That is all right. So okay, so we are locked Alpha Bravo on Bear Claw. Let's take a quick look at I'll head on over to the maps real quick while we're waiting on team 2. And yeah, so we've got Alpha Bravo. That is a heavy Epsilon presence. Again, I don't think we expect to see Kappa here. We'll see what Fjord does. I would expect them to send a mech to Kappa, so expect someone to stay Alpha with a Bravo Charlie distribution. For the most part, that's what I would expect, but Fjord is also a team that has some versatility in what they do, and they try to do so intentionally. So they are, I don't know if they're necessary. I don't know if I go as far as to say wild card, but they are certainly a team with different strats than the meta necessarily.
Absolutely. Will be definitely interesting to see if they bring anything new or not super widely used yet to the table, or if they follow a lot of the other more meta strats that have been going around.
Let's see. All right, here's the movement. Maybe.
Looks like they may have been waiting on Noblesse there, who did have a disconnect, it looked like.
Yep. And that's reasonable. Plenty of time on the disconnect. A bunch of disconnects tonight. We had 2 in the previous match. If you're just joining us, which reminds me, if you're just titles, should change title.
Ooh, yes, that's a good call. Let's get that changed over.
There we go. Get that going. And team 2 is locked. Interesting. More of an alpha distribution than I would have expected. But let's see how they go. I'll send you over to the lobby so you can see the lances here real quick in the background before going to the match screen. And I'll get the overlay correct. You're right. This is honestly, I think this is one of the prettier maps in its own way. I like the blue.
Yeah, no, the blue, and especially like we were saying with the previous match, that nice skybox is very, very pretty. The ice detailing is also quite pretty.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Also, like the floor box is that old Polar. That might be old Polar.
That would be interesting.
Huh. Just going off memory, that's what, 5-6 years old, however long that map has been out of the pool.
Yeah, I believe I was able to still play it in 2018 is I believe the last time I remember ever touching it.
Oh yeah, that's about 5-6 years, pretty much. All right, let's see here. I'm over here with Crossfire. We've got an Osiris, a Shadowcat, Javelin, and Black Lantern for our Wolf Pack with a Viper as well. Heavy machine gun based. We've got that PPC XE. We've got a longbow, 2 binaries with the overcharge, 2 binaries, 6 ER mediums, and a Stone Rhino 1, AC-10, and plasma cannon. So yeah, we're looking at a mid to brawl here on Clan Crossfire, or maybe even a receive. I can see that as a receive.
Looking to go something similar coming out here from Fjord. They have a Flea and Ice Ferret Juliet. The Juliet, of course, being interesting in that it is a supercharger and can match that Flea in speed. Looks like we're going to quickly have some conflict here at Kappa from both teams. Teams involved up on XEM, Stalker 7D, Shadowcat, a Madcat 2 Deathstrike with the Gauss Large Pulse Bomb, and then a Spider 5K looking to go try and get that Epsi Cap potentially, though it looks as though he may have been stopped. Fjord maybe also being routed at Kappa.
Yeah, Eco just hung out there, kept an eye out, saw Squeebs in the Osiris and said, I can't take that, which is fair. So Eco just doing a bit of scouting more than bothering with that, and not letting his presence be known, which is probably smart. Let's be real. Artie in the Spider 5K using that that X Pulse to good effect to just deny Epsilon. Lou here didn't take much damage. Opened up in the back a little bit, but armor's light on the back anyway, to be expected. Still at 99%. Moving into the center, we have Fjord not taking Theta. There's no one with eyes on Theta, and they've just let it sit there for a bit. I think they were looking to hopefully jump someone. And here comes the parade down the tarmac, just throwing shots into No Blessed.
A lot of damage on the Rathnor. Again, that beam Shadowcat getting used here again, which not super optimal. Can work on this map with the amount of cover, but as we're seeing, is allowed to be left quite beat on.
Yeah. This is it. Just getting these shots here isn't doing a whole lot. That's probably a little out of their optimal range, which means they're doing less. They're kind of like racks in that way, and if you're out of the optimal, they're just not doing a whole lot. Artie Hamster able to capture Epsi here. Lou maybe going to recap it as Artie comes back. We've got some real play over Epsi, but not a whole lot of contention. Just a lot of back and forth. Fjord right now with the cap point lead, but not the ticket lead. And Crossfire is going to maintain the ticket lead here as we've got the Wolfpack squaring up against. Wolfpack. We've got some Wolfpack fighting going on over here on the Kappa side. Squeebs and Myriad trying to get away, just playing it real squirrely, getting picks off. Revan with a glancing blow. A lot of movement here. Fjord gonna push up this side. We'll see if they decide to get confident, but Clan Crossfire dragging them into the main line.
A lot of damage already out onto Fjord here. They're taking a good amount of damage already from the traders coming out from Clan Crossfire. Noblest already down 77%, taking a lot of fire here. Captain Cat also taking a lot of receive fire, possibly legged.
All right, yeah, we've got a lot here. Captain Cat and that Black Lantern just absolutely roughed up, but tucked in against it. And they take Pete
down,
zone
just
go.
drilled out.
Yeah, Pete going down. Iron in the middle of everyone at 64%, definitely legged, and there goes Iron and Revan. They're tying this up right now. Fjord, I think, has the, well, never mind. Noblesse just went down to 51% and is in the middle of Nikoro, and now he's dead. Eco Ninja chasing Lou. This is the fight we saw in the beginning that never happened. Lou going down quickly to Arthin's shot in the
Andy
summoner.
About to go down on that Stalker.
Nikoro
taking
down.
a lot of damage too.
This is just back to back. It is 4v4.
Is legged.
Atreus in a bad way. Here's Rathnor gonna clean that up. Artillery Hamster in that spider, probably going to get away, but did not do so cleanly, down to 73%. It's Arthin and Eco next on the chopping block for Rathnor and Squeebs, who are both down to 60%, 40%. Arthin and Barbecue, they are just looking absolutely roughed up. Armor advantage has changed to Fjord.
Low BBQ
As
is
Squeebs
leg
goes
down to that
down.
one last leg.
And
The flea
there's,
will take it out.
yeah, and it is down to Myriad, who is trying to plink away, but it is not going to be enough. Fjord with an excellent showing here at first. A slow start, but it looks like they are going to clean up at the end. Myriad here going down to Artie Hamster. Now it's just up to Fjord to take the points, and they have plenty of time to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and declare this win for Fjord here. First one, well played. And again, as I was saying, you were going to see some of the chess moves in this tournament. So you saw that scouting over on Epsi, where one mech was just kind of scouting, hanging out, pulled back. You saw a lot of back and forth on those flanks until Fjord was able to just capitalize on them. Crossfire with a couple people that just overextended a little bit, got into the pocket, and were able to get singled out. Really, it was a bunch of micro mistakes that made it. I can't honestly point to any big mistakes on this one like we did on last BOG, so that is the way comp is at this level. It is the small mistakes that will catch up with you.
Absolutely. It was a very well executed push by both teams there. Each one just very close and multiple times to almost be able to swing it each way, with Fjord eventually coming out on top.
All right, let's take a look. It looks like we have the stats here. 489 for Arthin, and that Summoner is going to top out Fjord by a good, 150 points, give or take. Doing a quick look and looking at Crossfire. Across the board, damages are pretty much the same. Crossfire might even have a slight edge in the damage, which means that Fjord focused a little better as well, which will make a difference. A little bit of that, little bit of focus fire goes a long way.
Absolutely. On that note, for any new players here, that is one of the things to consider with comp, especially if you're looking to go in the CS, is high damage not always better, because high damage can mean that you're doing a bit too much farming. You really just want to see the component called go down. You want to see whatever it is go boom, and ideally remove that firepower off the battlefield as quick as possible and as little damage as you can.
Yeah, that is a big thing. If you've got a mech that you're bringing a quick play, you're like, I can get 1,000 damage in that. That's great. It's a contender. But you have to look at why are you getting 1,000 damage as well. Because if you are spreading that damage and sort of farming it, it may not translate to comp. It might, it all depends. But it's something to keep in mind. The damage numbers are not everything. You want the focus. So side swap, server swapped. Go ahead and start the team timer. And we are coming up on the BOG again. Meridian BOG. All right, let's head on back into the lobby. I don't know that there's much to say about BOG that we haven't said already. You've got the two teams. You do have that sniper hill, which is something it's something to contend with, quite frankly, if you are on, which team is that? That is team 1. If you're on team 1, you have to contend with that sniper hill. And it's tough. Like getting Epsilon and then going Theta might be the way to do it. Because crossing that open ground is so often death, especially if they've got 2 or more snipers on it. Oh geez, they are already locked. Lord. All right, Fjord is on top of it. And they are going Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie on this on team 1. So taking a look, I'll scooch over to the map so you can get a bigger view of that. Doesn't say a whole lot of anything. We're probably going to see some contestation over Theta and Epsi. I think they're going all 3 here. We'll see how they contend with that sniper hill. That's going to be tough with this distribution, but probably they're fast movers over on the Bravo side here. Actually, they're light on Charlie, so they might do a quick theta cap rejoin and try to push across. Well, I don't know how that's going to work. That push is always one to work. I think it's often better to trade to see if you can trade against them on that Kappa hill, on that sniper hill.
Absolutely. No, it's again, it's part of why it almost feels like a map problem that may hopefully at some point need to be addressed, just due to how oppressive trying to push in there from any angle really is if the team sets up for it properly. It just is, it's so oppressive to try and get your mechs up in there. I would absolutely agree. It's better to try and trade so hard that they have to give up the hill than to actually have to just directly push it, as directly pushing it can so often just lead to it being a death trap.
Yeah, honestly, if I was team one, I would not expect to push. I would not push unless I was doing something sneaky around theta, like a super heavy wolf pack coming around theta. It's just not good against the hill. There's counter strats ultimately is where I'm getting. It is not. I mean, it ultimately is a balance issue, but it's kind of like Forest, right? It's not. You can overcome the difference, but in any case, let's get on to drop 2 here. And go ahead and launch. All right, taking a look here, we have Party Hamster and Iron Wolf pack hanging out here on the Epsi side. That Osiris with heavy machine guns and X-Pulse, which is a little less. Oh, and we've got Arthen here too. Surprise Summoner. So that's what we're looking at for those 3. We've got in the center Atreus in the Viper, Andy in the Stone Rhino. And we've got Shadowcat, a Charger, and 7. Love to see it. That crit chance of more than 100% reduction after skills. And Eco Ninja in that flea, so I expect Eco to go to theta. All right, what do we got on the other side?
We have another Fafnir, heavy PPC, Silver Bullet Gauss. We have a Gauss ER Large Stone Rhino 1P, paired up there with what is that, Quad Gauss actually? No, dual Gauss for ER Large. They got a Shadowcat D, paired up with the Plasma build, Phoenix Hawk 7S, Cyrus, Incubus, a Marauder 4L. So it looks as though they are looking to trade again, having that one mech set up over on the same hill over here by Theta to overlook, and then the rest of the team sitting up here on the Kappa Hill with then a Wolfpack to defend.
Yep, so we have Fjord very quick to take Gamma. Going to gain 3 to 4, 3 ticks off of that as CXF takes a second to get to Sigma, but looks like CXF got to take Kappa, and we have a fight over Theta. Let's zoom over there as fast as I can to see that happening.
Revan's taking a lot of fire here. Mirage also taking a bit. Squeeb's kind of getting to sit here and trade on Revan for free, though.
Yep, Revan's certainly paying for it. Myriad, that's a pretty even trade, but we got Noblest in here with the Charger. But Crossfire does have Overwatch on Theta, and it evens out. Now, CXF very heavy on this side. You see they've got 5 mechs kind of pooled up there to hold Theta and keep it away. And they were able to grab Kappa before Epsi, so the cap lead goes to Crossfire here. Theta going to remain neutral. Fjord has a lot of folks hanging out around Epsi trying to prevent that cap. Iron is still out of the fight here. Arthen out of the fight. There's sort of 2 mechs that are out of it here, which is going to make it difficult for the rest of their team. Actually, what does Arthen have on that summoner? Is it the SRMs? Because he'll be out of the fight for a hot minute. Yeah, Arthen on the short range needs to close. It looks like Crossfire.
Andy's taking a lot of fire here. Set up with a CQB build of the AC-10 plasma cannon. Definitely not what they're wanting in this scenario.
Yeah, just launching those plasmas at that long range. I don't know off the top of my head what the max range of plasmas is, but that's got to be right on the end. That is
It's about 1,000 meters, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Okay,
it's not doing any
right.
damage to Lil BBQ there. Lil BBQ sitting pretty with that Gaussier PPC, just trading in the Andy super hard. Andy honestly probably needing to stop peeking that corner. They're just getting absolutely nailed here by that Marauder.
And for no damage, they're not putting anything out. So yeah, definitely time to move. And they are actually, I wonder how the thermal damage works at range. Anyway, that's a side point. Fjord is moving over here to the FC side. With Eco Ninja screening the back with no blessed. Crossfire content to stand back and trade. They have a little bit of a cap advantage, and Fjord having abandoned Theta looks like CXF has recognized that. They're going to send Rathnor in that Incubus to go cap that up and extend their lead. Now Fjord is going to have to make a move here in probably the next minute or two. Once Theta, and so CXF should just be setting up for that push because they now have all the pressure. Cover Theta, cover a push. Fjord making a move for Theta here with the same suspects, that Wolfpack plus Blessed. Blessed just pumping out some potential damage at long range with those X-Pulse. Not a whole lot, but enough to keep them back. Crossfire with the armor advantage here, just trying to deny Theta. They have 4 or 5 eyes on Theta here with the range to do something about it. No Blessed is the only ranged here able to counter it.
Looks as though their light pack may have identified that Lol BBQ's isolated. They might be getting ready to try and pop up there, take out that Marauder.
Yeah, here comes Revan. There's Hamster and Atreus. A little bit of an overshot here, but here's Lol Barbecue taking shots to those legs. Let's take a look. One leg open, the other ready to go. Both legs. Revan gonna pay for it, but even if Revan goes down, well, that Shadowcat is a monster of a mech. Definitely punches up, but that tonnage trade is not bad. Squeebs coming up for the essentially 3v1 here. Is going to escape at 78%. Artie Hamster open somewhere in the head. That's no big deal for an Osiris. And they're going to keep going. They are not satisfied with potentially taking Theta. They're going to push it in. This could be a mistake for Fjord. And they're slowing it down. Good. Let's see how we're looking. We've got Blessed here. Open CT. Andy at 67%. Still has armor though. Nikoro down to 71% in the Stone Rhino. I'll get a look at that paper doll here shortly. Ooh, down to 50% and Nikoro, fast.
And he goes down.
Right down. Pete Zone will be next on the focus, being alone. Down to 37. Look at these numbers drop. This Fjord focus, as it were. Just really going at it. Andy is going to go down in the back, but the Fjord is just going to keep pushing. Squeebs going down in the Osiris. Not sure who's going to be left. Andy cooks himself. Rathnor looking like he's moving pretty slow, probably legged. I don't think I'm going to get the click off.
Rathnor will go down.
And now it is down to Lou and Cat and Myriage, who are all split up. There can be no focus. Myriage going down. Fjord is going to clean this up with Lou going up against the Iron Wolfpack and no Blessed. Iron Wolfpack gets Lou. And now it's just a matter of flipping the caps. And that is going to be a 2-0 sweep for Fjord.
We've gathered enough resources.
Very well executed push they're coming out from Fjord. CXF, unfortunately, not having enough time to recover there. Fjord just waiting just a sec there to gather their bearings and seeming to have decided that CFX did, in fact, not have everything quite in position yet to receive after trying to defend Will BBQ there. And Fjord pushing in, capitalizing on that moment and just sweeping out CXF before they could recover.
Yeah, it was really well done on Fjord. Took advantage of some CXF overcommissions, and leaving that Marauder on that hill alone was certainly problematic. All right, looking at some quick stats here, we've got 686 for Andy in that Stone Rhino, 558 for that number 7. No Blessed. Squeebs in the Osiris getting stuck at double digits, I think, again. And overall, actually a pretty good spread on CXF side. It really comes down to that Fjord focus. That's going to be the thing to watch. The Fjord focus. Make a joke. It's we just saw it at work. The damage is kind of the same, but you can see that you watch those mechs go down fast. Here's a little more detailed breakdown on that for you.
Yeah, Andy with that Stone Rhino still coming out on top with that damage despite having been out of range for so long. Once it gets in the range, of course, that Stone Rhino is just absolutely blasting things. Being the old classic of the Kodiak with the 4 AC-10s, now getting the addition of those sweet plasma cannons for more damage up close. Just running in there, running rampant. The number 7 running in there, just absolutely DPSing everything down with its X-Pulse. Overall, very, very good damage coming out there from these sorts of Fjord. Captain Cat and the Shadow Cat showing, still why that Shadow Cat is just so good right now.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. And CXF going off of their double header here, and they're gonna end up in the queue again. So well played to CXF. We'll see you out there on the field. Fjord goes on to fight for the 3rd spot in the tournament, which their opponents will be determined tomorrow. And I think that'll do it for this stream. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Hammer, for the co-cast.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right. And we'll catch you all later, everybody. And be sure to check in with MWO Leagues and probably MWO Leagues too tomorrow. What is that? UTC 1 p.m. I'm pretty sure. Let me check the tournament page here real quick.
I believe that would have been tonight. Let me double check.
It is 1 p.m. UTC, which in my local time Eastern, if that helps anybody. Has been lost. Where did it go? Come back. Oh no, that is 1 p.m. my time.
Yes, I believe it is 10 a.m. for Pacific, which then is roughly going to translate into here. Real quick math going from that.
5 p.m.
-5,
UTC.
-7.
Yeah.
I mean, would be 1700 UTC, I believe.
That's 5 p.m. Yep. Which is the times that you said for Pacific and 1 p.m. for Eastern. So take the spread, whatever you want, convert it to your local time. Check the posts on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, be sure to join the MWO Discord. It is a great source of information. You can talk to players, talk to refs, talk to casters, get everything set out, search for a team if you're not on one this yet. So we hope to see you there, and we'll see you tomorrow.